Okay, it's a high wind day today, so I won't be on the camera speaking much because it's just going to be terrible for you to listen to. Bottom line is I'm going to put a lot of work in today to making sure we can pack behind. Got a new dirt drop here recently. Then we're going to throw this the fabric up, work our rock a little bit, and then we're going to start working on our tubes and put in our fence poles. So with that, I'm going to get to work. Okay, I've got the fifth course in here on the straightaway. Then I'll work on the turn tomorrow. I'm going to continue to go up. I'm going to go to the sixth course and make the turn and set myself up for success tomorrow. I think that's about as much juice as I've got left in the engine. So yeah, this is my last. The sixth course will be my last course before we go to the standalone brick on the top, so that you can see it from both sides. So that guy's going to land right around here when it's all said and done with the capstone, and that's about it. That's the height of the wall. So yeah, we're getting there. It's quite the journey. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. It's not the right way to do it. You normally would fill as you go up. You put a brick in, do about 3 inches, you compact it, 3 inches, you put another brick in, yada yada. The challenge is I'm doing these poles and for the fence, and I need to really have a height to do that cut. I can't exceed this level. In fact, one could argue that I need to even be down further, but you know, the geogrid's there, that's the level. See, originally I was going to brick higher and around this turn, and I've come to figure out that there's no way I'm doing that. That's not going to happen. It's not going to match right with the road and what have you. So this is it. And then I'm going to do the standalone and a cap, which will be above grade, so it'll be okay that it's there. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I feel like, you know, this is day 10, and I feel like this weekend I could find myself at a point where I have all my primary blocks in, including the ones that are going up the hill here. I actually don't have that much more to go there. What I'll be behind on and continue to have to work on will be this rock. It will be a gift that keeps on giving, particularly when those tubes are in there, because I will only really be able to compact in the section behind the camera on the turn in between the pipes by the machine. I'm gonna have to use a hand stamper otherwise. So in here in this run, I will be hand stamping it all the way down. So put in 3 inches, hand stamp it down. So it'll be quite the drill. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the reason why this is not filled in. And one of the reasons why you don't want to do this is because of these little pockets here. Because you can see where it would collapse in here. So one of the things I'm going to have to do, and I'm not going to enjoy it, is I'm going to have to ram a product into these holes and then fill it, and then, you know, get as filled up as possible so that the rock won't cave in and go into the hole and leave voids inside the rock behind the wall. That would not be good. So I'm going to have to do that work in the post, and again, it's not an exciting concept, but it is something I'm going to have to do, and you know, I'll probably be, you know, come up with a method, and it'll end up going better than I'm thinking at the moment. So with that, you get a gain and you get a loss at the same time. That's how that works. But I will gain what I wanted to gain, which was to get that proper height off the top of this for those pipes. It is 18 inches, but the rock, you know, is a little bit of da-da-da-da. And so I wanted to make sure that it was level all the way across to it. And the way to do that is to have these blocks in here and put it out. So it'll be laying out blocks in the morning, getting the blocks as far as I can get them. I think I'll get all the way around the turn. And then I will come back and start putting in the pipes for the tubes for the post. So with that, that's the end of this day. On to the next. Well, day 11 started off a little interesting. We've had some weather. You can probably see it in the sky behind me. Some rain. I've come down, dropped a couple pallets in, had to go back inside. It wasn't just a light rain, it was coming down. So the work area is, fortunately, it all slopes off, so whatever water doesn't pool. So today we're going to get into extending these last two courses around the turn, and then hopefully, weather permitting, going to go ahead and start putting out the tubes for the fence post. So with that, I better get to work because the weather won't stay with me for too long today. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. It is a Saturday. I work Saturday and Sundays for the most part, so I want to really get to it today. So the last couple of days have really been about putting up the bricks. You know, when I look at how I did it in the back here, I wasn't too excited about it because ultimately I like to come up in courses along the way, and I think it's the proper way to do it. But like I was saying, I have fence posts going up, and I need that height to be perfect off the top of it, slightly down even, and I can't have that come off. Plus, I just needed that straight edge to look against, to do that measurement out so that I can set the post, because these posts have to go in with the rock around them, and that void has to be created so that the post can set in, and of course the concrete can be poured inside. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and continue going north up the driveway here, placing them every 6 feet, cutting the tubes as necessary. I do have to increase the height of the tube as we go north. So it's a little bit of laying it out and thinking it through. I'm hopeful that it'll all measure in exactly as I planned. But, you know, hey, plans are meant to be changed, and I've already done so along this way, so here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip over 5. 5 is where we're going to have the electrical come up, and then also have an extra round in here so that someday we could put a gate in, and we need that post in. So I'm going to pause that for a second. I'm waiting on some electrical wire to come in with Sherry, and I need to get these things going. I still got plenty of daylight here to keep going. So I'm going to keep going up the hill here, gap over that for a second, fill this all in, and then come back and deal with that. So right now I'm going to go ahead and cut this tube to 2 feet, because those 1.5s were okay down there, but now that I'm going deeper into the structure, because there's going to be one more brick right here, I'm going to take it down 2 feet, and it'll give it that much more stability. There really is an incredible amount of thinking through each step here. You don't want to do reworks, and reworks with a rock digging into it, not fun. So you need to make sure you're dead on, your heights are correct, you're thinking about each next step that's coming, and laying out those posts, because you're going to want to have the whole post in the middle of this thing with the meat of the concrete around it. So how's that landing? Where's that going to land up the field here when we go towards the houses and all that? It's really kind of like a mind twister. You could have engineering plans, and I suggest that you should, laying it all out, what have you. But you know, I just don't work that way. I kind of freelance until I figure it out, and freelance a little bit more until I finally get to where I want it to go. Sometimes the practice of doing the work shows you what you would rather do, and as you're doing it, it builds a different one. You know, I was really hopeful that these pavers would be helpful, and they are. They're just amazingly holding it steady while I get everything in place. And yeah, I couldn't ask for a better plan. That actually was pretty good. Okay, so I have some services down here, right? I have electric coming in. As you can see, I've got it stubbed out from when we were doing the reservoir. Ran that electrical down to the pump for the well as the yellow shop. I made sure we had enough splice to come over to here and get ourselves set up for an electric over here. Probably future gate, don't know, but at minimum I'll have a plug right here to do all my cuts that I'm going to need to do on this wall. So that's the big win on that. Also too, I've got my water line coming down here for irrigation for the 2 islands, if you will, with the willows on it, and making sure that I have water and irrigation down there as well. Easy, maintained situation. Then also I'm going to have the drain tile coming through here for the French drain that'll connect into the white tube and go out into the creek when the rain comes sheening off the road into the sides. We're going to have a nice little crown in the middle and make sure that the water comes down to the sides, goes into the French drain and out. We're going to put a set of plastic in here so that I make sure that the water finds its way into the French drain rather than going down into this drain rock. The drain rock, all honesty, now, for the most part, I mean, there'll still be water going down there, but for the most part should only be a little bit here and there. The bulk of the water will find its way into the French drain and out. With the form tube in this last one right past the bricks, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. This will continue upward on a later date, but for right now, for the retaining wall purposes, I can stop with that. I have to do a little backtracking now and go do the electrical work, which is gonna require me not only putting in one tube, but two. And I would like to set it up for success, so I gotta run a a post up higher for right now temporarily, so I can put a plug in to that area, so when I go to do my cuts, I have the machine down here rather than trying to traverse up the 600 feet up to the house, cut and bring it down and, you know, whatever. So that's better. And then I'll move on to, once that tubing's in, I'll go back to the course work that needs to be completed on this side, get that all leveled out, get that finished off for the primary bricks, and set myself up for success for the standalone bricks and the cap. So this is where you get into a little artwork. It's just a bit off, and so I'm gonna have to go out towards the driveway and then kind of bend out towards the north of the driveway, and then just slightly bend again going upward. So it's a little twisted metal here, or plastic if you will. Hopefully I can get it to go right, because it's going to be a lot easier to do this than it is to deal with that and moving it. So it's just, again, just enough to be a problem. It looks like I have, where is my tape measure? Over there. Okay, I'll let it go. But it looks like I'm over to here, so I'm going to want to be out in this space. Okay, from this point on is going to be standalone bricks. So I'll butt that into here and then set myself up on the next layer here. One of the things is the paver will come down like this right by this area. It'll be higher than this brick, so you won't see the back of this. I'll be able to fill it in with rock and just have that paver come right up through here. So it'll, yeah, it'll look good. It'll work out. So I had a moment there where I was putting on the standalone brick that I had from the past wall I did, and I thought, no, I think I can do that, where I can just continue it through. So yeah, this is where I want it to go up, right about here, right with the post, and then go to the next, go down 2 and do the same thing up. Everything's in motion. I just now have to do the backfill, and then we're going to start running the other utilities, the water through and the drainage pipe through, and get this section today. The goal is to get this section and the forms for the wall completed. If I am done with the rock by the end of the day, I've hit my goal. I probably will run out before I need to run out. So ultimately I'm going to have to buy some more, but that's okay, because I still have the west wall to build, which is coming up in another week. So I've got to move, get some things done. I have one more weekend to get this wall completed after this weekend. So yeah, lots of things moving and going, so let's get to it. Hey, real quick, I taught, these gloves are, not necessarily the best for what I'm doing, but it is. I like the idea that I can touch and feel what I'm working with. This stuff is heavy, can really hurt your hands. That's why you have steel toes for your shoes. So, you could argue that you should get some gloves, and I have them, that have nice protectors for your fingers, and you're gonna rue the day that you didn't choose that particular glove. But this gives me the ability to feel what I'm doing a lot better, and I like them, and that's why I use them. I'm gonna go ahead and extend this pipe upward so I can get it up and work with it in the future. Like I said, I'm gonna put a plug here so I can do all my cuts for the retaining wall rather than going back and forth up to the top of the house and burning up a ton of gas and effort and everything else and time. So I'm gonna put this down, and then I'm gonna take that rebar, put it down, tie it off, and yeah, it'll be ready to go. Just temporarily sprout it out. It's not live right now, which is fine, but it will be. Okay, a little pause in the action as I've got to start working the water line and putting it through at this height behind the forms so that I could pour the next batch of rock on top of it. But this is my irrigation line that's going to run all the way down, be the sprinklers for the grass, and then also water available to water the young willow that I'm going to have to put up there. A little bit of thinking forward, there's going to be a pole here, so I've got to make sure this line comes over this way, because that next post is going to be right about there. I've been working on the rock up here to build a curb, as I want to roll out this landscape fabric underneath so I can put the French drain on top of it and get the water to pool in that direction. So I want it to be permeable. You don't want a belly of water in here and putting weight on it, getting frozen and having problems as the year goes along. It does get sub-zero here sometimes. So what I want to do is create an area that resists, then puts the water, the bulk of it, if it really coming down, into the French drain, out this pipe here and out to the creek. So this is designed to give it some resistance, but it'll drip through if and when, of course, it builds up and then it just sits there. It'll just drip through it into the rock, hopefully out to the drain tile down below. So with that, off the races, here we go. It's an absolutely beautiful day just to work. Getting out a little early before the 4th of July week, and gonna finish off my tubes for the fence post. Get this turn all completed in and what have you. We got the run along the driveway completed, set up for success, and we'll do the standalone bricks and caps this weekend. So, you know, real simple stuff. Cut this down to 1.5 feet per tube per setting. The only challenge is we won't be able to, probably from my initial measurements, to hit the 6 foot mark. We're going to come in around 5 foot 8 inches. Better to go under than over the distance. Obviously, the further the rails have to stretch, the more opportunity for you know, sags and, you know, in and outs and what have you. So it's better to have it be shorter than longer. So way I figured that math to go all the way around, I'll land just short of the end, which is exactly where I want to be. I want the end of the retaining wall to stop after the fence. I don't know why, just want to. And so we need to be, when putting these in, 2 inches from the back of the retaining wall brick will give us the cap. I want a 2-inch gap to that between the fence post and the back of the retaining wall cap. So that's 4 inches, and then each post, let's just call them 4 inches. I know they're 3.5. You know, from there, so that we can go ahead and set that as our middle. So let's call that another 2 inches for a total of 6. Then I'm going to have this tube, which is 10 inches, which to me, the middle of that would be 5 inches. Subtract back, you got a 1-inch gap to the back of the retaining wall brick for setting this up. I'll probably land somewhere around 1.5 because I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and just use a spacer when I get to that point. Make it real simple on myself rather than overthinking it, trying to use a tape measure and what have you. I'll place this up to here, put the tube in front of it, keep my feet on the level part, and keep that going. As you saw on the run up towards the driveway, I'm using pavers to put on the cap of the tube for now so that I can set the level and get everything put in place, put the rock around it, and off to the races you go. It's really quite simple, other than the physical labor to it all. It's very manual. You've got to make sure you build your base, get that thing solid, that tube in there solid, and then filling around it, filling around it. So it's turned into be a bit of a manual process. But with that, let's get going. I do have another activity today that I want to get to with doing some weed killing. So I got to get moving. Well, this side should be a lot easier to do than the run up the driveway. I don't have any electrical, no drainage, and no water to go through here. So it'll be very simple. The water I will run down the run here at the end. So when I get down to about, say, 6 to 8 inches below, when I go to put the dirt in, that's when I'll run the pipe down through here. So, and I don't even think I'm going to do that yet. This will probably end up being about, I'll go ahead and run 6 inches below, because I got to run dirt all the way across, because this will ultimately have grass all the way up. So yeah, anyway, here we go. Yeah, same process as before. Put a little spacer in, get some rock thrown in, go and measure it out.